Hi and welcome to the 5-Minute Business Boost, where you get to choose your 5-minute investment. I'm your host, Sam Nix, and I'll be discussing topics under the headings of business development, marketing, photography, and much more.
Welcome to today's episode. This one is all about framing your art, and it's based on a hands-on workshop that I taught in 2025 for Yea Arts. It was a series. There were 16 workshops over 12 months, and honestly, we had a lot of fun with it. But more importantly, we saw real shifts in how people were capturing and presenting their work. So let's talk about framing. Now, I'm not talking about fancy gallery-ready, perfect, matted and mounted kind, although that does matter too. I mean how you actually frame your work in photos, in video, and how you present it to the world. Because here's the thing. Most artists, makers and creatives are doing incredible work, but they're losing the impact before anybody gets a chance to appreciate it. And 9 times out of 10, it comes down to framing. So this is not just about taking the photo. You can have the most beautiful piece of art, hours of work, lots of detail, beautiful texture, and a whole story. But if the photo is rushed, cluttered, poorly lit, or cropped awkwardly, it doesn't land and people just scroll past. Framing is what translates your work from real life into digital space. And right now, most people are seeing your work on a phone screen. So the way that you frame it matters more than ever. So let's talk gear, okay, without getting too much into the nerdy atmosphere. And before we go too far, we really need to talk about what you're actually using, because your device does matter, but not in the way people think. Smartphones are an incredible piece of equipment. They are so powerful now, but they're also automatic, which means if you don't understand the basics, you're letting the phone decide everything. SLR cameras, my personal favourite, they give you more control, focus, depth of field and exposure, all the good stuff, but they also expect you to know what you're doing. So it's not about which one is better, it's about knowing when to use each. Quick rule of thumb, a smartphone will give you a quick, consistent, great for socials. SLR will give you more control, better for detailed or intentional shots. But you know what? It doesn't matter which one you're using. Just try to use the highest quality setting available. And if you can, get that, the rule of thirds happening so that you've got things in line where you want them to be. And you really only get one chance to capture that moment properly. And look, I know it's going to take you a few takes potentially, or you just might take 3 shots and you've got it. Either or, you need to think about it. Now, this is the same for video. Video will just add that other layer. It's not about what people see, it's about how they experience. So think about where the camera sits. What's in the background? How does the shot start and how does it end? And what movement is happening? Good framing in video creates flow. Bad framing creates confusion. And this is where people can come unstuck. And trust me, I've done it too. Because they're going to focus on the art, but not the setup around it. And that's where you need them to be. Lighting. Now, this is a make or break factor. You can get everything right, including the framing, but if your lighting is off, the whole thing falls apart. Natural light is your best friend. I love natural light. It's soft, it's free, it's forgiving. And if you can shoot during the day near a window, perfect. Artificial light, however, does have its place, especially if you need consistency. LED light, softbox is a great tool, but here's the key. With any lighting, you need to avoid those harsh shadows. You need to avoid that yucky direct overhead lighting, and you need to watch for glare and reflections. Just move your piece or the camera around to get rid of the reflection. Because if you can see it, your camera will too. So move yourself, move the piece, or change the angle. Photographing your work. Now, these are simple wins. This is where people can overcomplicate things and you really don't need to. A few basics go a long way. Use your highest capture settings, get your lighting right first, watch for reflections, keep that background clean. And a couple of easy composition tricks. One item is really the strongest for sales. Groups of 3 can work really well visually. And 2 items can be awkward. Yes, really, it just can be. Trust me, have a go at it. Tell me what you think. And don't forget black and white. Sometimes removing the colour actually highlights the texture, the detail and form better than anything else. Now, the background. Why is it talking, whether you like it or not? Every photo and video has a background, and that background is either helping your work or distracting from it. There's no neutral. There's no Switzerland here. Cluttered benches, busy walls, random objects, or poor lighting. And all of that will compete with your work. So framing is about making a decision. What stays, what goes, and what really matters in the shot. So simple framing changes can make a big difference. And this is where people go, oh, actually, that's not really that hard. And it's not. You don't need the expensive gear. You just need a bit of an intention, and you need to ask yourself, what is the hero of the shot? Where does the eye go first? Is there anything pulling that attention away? And does the framing overall feel balanced? And sometimes it's just as simple as moving one item, changing that angle, stepping back, or getting closer. Easy peasy. Now, why does this matter more than you think? Well, we are in a world now where content is constant. And you only have to look up one thing around art in your feed, whether you're on any of the social media platforms, and you will see then your feed is fully involved in the art world all of a sudden. And, people are making decisions really quickly. So even with all the advances in tech and AI helping businesses communicate faster and better across every industry, if your visuals are not clear, simple and well framed, none of that will matter, because framing is still human, it's instinct and it's connection. And framing is part of your brand. There you go, I've said it. And this is the thing that people miss the most. Your photos and videos just aren't content. They're your shop front. They tell people what you value, how professional you are, and what your work is worth. So, consistent, clean, intentional framing builds trust. Messy, inconsistent visuals do the opposite. Now, you don't need to be perfect, okay? Sometimes the quickest, fastest shot or capture will be perfect, okay? So this is not about turning you into a professional photographer overnight, but it is about awareness. And once you start seeing that framing, you can't unsee it. And that's where everything starts to improve. Now, these are the things that we cover in the workshop. Now, I'm not going to give you everything here today because I've got to keep a few cards up my sleeve for the fun that we have in our workshops. But this is exactly what we dive into the workshop. Choosing the right device for the job, simple lighting setups, framing techniques, creating repeatable, consistent content, and making your work look as good online as it does in real life. It's practical, it's hands-on, and it's built for real people, just not studio setups. And yes, we do talk about apps that will transpose your art into a lounge room or a kitchen or a dining room. So we cover all of that. So in wrapping this up today, your work does deserve to be seen properly. Can't be rushed, it can't be cluttered. You can't have it lost in the background, because framing's not about perfection. It's about giving your work the best chance to speak. So if you're an artist out there, I hope today has given you a little bit of inspiration to look at your art slightly different through the lens. And as I said, it doesn't matter what you use to capture the beauty of your art. Have a great day all, and remember, anything is possible. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the 5-Minute Business Boost. For more information, follow me on socials, sign up for my newsie, or check out my website to see how we can work together to reach your small business goals. Remember, anything is possible, especially in the northeast of Victoria. Until next time, cheerio!